I'm Jessica Cootie, joined by defensive coordinator Tony White. Well, welcome to Lincoln. How's it going?
Thank you. Great. Beautiful out here. Support. Everything's been awesome.
What was it about Coach Rule, Nebraska, that you wanted to come here and be the DC here?
One of the biggest things was obviously the connection with Coach Rule and the success he's had, and just the energy he brings, and knowing him for as long as I have. And then when I was growing up in football, you didn't talk about college football without mentioning Nebraska. I mean, the black shirts, the national championships, just the way they played, the brand of football. So it was something that I felt I couldn't pass up.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about the black shirts. I know you'll probably come about how you want to go about doing that, but how exciting is that to be able to be a part of that?
Listen, to lead the black shirts, I mean, I still got some studying to do because I want to do this thing right. I want to bring the tradition back the right way, and there's some great resources here to do it. There's plenty of people in the building, including the AD who lived it. So I want to do it right. But when you talk about college football and some of the best defenses in the country, I want to make sure that they mention Nebraska first.
What kind of players, what kind of qualities do you look for in the players that line up and play defense for you?
The biggest thing is they got to play with some passion. It's one thing to go out there and play and do your job and be an X's and O's guy, but I think college football nowadays, the opportunity that you get, wearing the N on your helmet, the nameplate on the back of your jersey, I think those things, if you're not juiced up and you're not lively and you don't play with no spirit, you're just not going to play here. That's not the way we do things. So you're going to love playing football. You're going to love where you're at. You're going to love who you're going to be around. You're going to be a great teammate, and we're going to get after it.
Sounds a lot like what Coach Rule says. How important is that that aligns with what he believes in too?
100%. And again, getting a chance to sit down and speak with Coach Rule and listening to him talk, you always want that alignment. You listen to him and the way he chose Nebraska. I think when you sit down in terms of assistant coaches wise, you want the same thing. You want everybody to see things the same way, on the same page, so that way you can preach those things to the young men and we can all go out there and do our jobs.
How important is the development of players when they come here and come to this program?
I think that's 100%. Most important thing. A lot of times you get enamored with all the stars and all that kind of stuff, but this program in particular has been built on taking young men and developing them, surrounding them with resources so that they can become better men as well as better football players. So again, this is an opportunity that I get a chance to go in there and become a part of that tradition.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the newest additions, and we start with Dylan Rogers, a linebacker from Cypress High School, Cy Woods, and 6'3", 235, 75 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss as a senior. Yeah,
he's Dylan. First and foremost, great young man, great family. Those guys down there in Texas, you love Texas high school football. I think he's an athlete that multi-sport athlete as well, does track. And the one thing about him is when you see him, he's always smiling. When my first interaction with him on campus, he's smiling. He loves this place. He wants to be a Cornhusker. Athletic, big, long, all those things that you're looking for in a linebacker. And so when you talk about him, again, the future's bright for him.
He already looks the part in pads too.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, I got to adjust my sights because sometimes, I wasn't dealing with these kind of guys before. So now it's like, wow, you see him coming in and the first thing you ask is like, okay, are you a senior in college already? He's like, no, I'm a senior in high school. I'm like, okay, let's go.
We talked about what you look for in overall defensively, but what about linebackers specifically? What do they need to have to play in your defense?
Yeah, you always want speed. You want physicality and aggression. So when you watch guys on tape, you want to see if they're a guy who's moving sideways or they're going downhill. And then as you get to know them and you see their profile, you want to see some playmaker in them. We always have the saying that on the chalkboard, the offense wins, right? They always got you blocked up on the chalkboard, but somehow, some way, football players find a way to make a play. And so when you watch this tape, you see him getting off the blocks, you see him redirecting, you see him going downhill and making plays.
All right, up next, Eric Fields, a linebacker out of Ardmore, Oklahoma, my home state. Okay. So excited about that. 6'2", 195, 180 tackles in 10 games, and he's another fast one.
Fast. That's the first thing you see is speed. And you watch him on tape, and you realize that he's got twitch, he's got explosion, but then when you see him live, when you see him in person, you don't realize how big he is. I mean, he is all a 6'2", 6'3". Looks like he can be a guy who's 225, 230 pounds like nothing. And again, another young man who came over here with his family and just enamored with the place, just loved where he was at. So you add that combination with the speed, the aggression, his development going the right way, you can see an all-conference type linebacker here.
And when I talked to his family, you know, they talked about it. He flew under the radar a little bit. Why do you think that was?
You know what? Just I mean, there's plenty of recruits that go through flying under the radar every year. You know, and so I don't know, but we are happy to have him.
Yeah, but for a guy like that, for maybe wasn't seen until late, how much do you see like an appreciation of having an opportunity like this?
Oh, 100%. You know, again, you don't get guys that big and that fast that are readily available like that. So the whatever it was that other schools passed on, you know, we got a great recruiting staff, great department. I got a chance to look and see, and again, just as you said earlier, the development. What can this guy be surrounded with the right resources and the right teachings? We're ecstatic to have him.
All right, and Chief Borders, a transfer from Florida, will be a redshirt sophomore, originally out of Chicago, 6'4", 241.
Yes. I mean, now Chief, if you haven't met the young man, when you meet him live, he is just a natural. It's like he's living on Red Bull or something. I mean, he's got so much energy, so much passion. Academic All-American type young man. So mother's a doctor, so you watch his tape and you see speed, you see physicality, you see aggression. Being a transfer guy, more ready to play with that experience. You add all those things together, and then again, just talk about passion and talk about just loving where you're at. With Chief, that's a guy who I'm looking forward to being here.
All right, how much do you love this group of linebackers you're bringing in?
Tell you what, I think the ultimate compliment is when on game day, if you're doing things right, I get to sit back and watch those young men play, and I'm looking forward to it.
What's next for you now that signing day's in the books? How do you move forward?
Now moving forward, now it's all about the playbook, the guys here in the program. You know, you spend so much time out on the road recruiting the young men in the future of the program. You never want to discount the young men who are here and who have put in the work. And so now the attention turns to them and making sure that we have everything we need, so that way we give those guys a chance to go out there and play.
Tony White, appreciate your time.
Thank you.